Hi everyone, it's Kelly Herrick. I'm a well-being artist and an author. And although you might have seen and heard a lot about my paintings and creativity, what you might not know is that a couple of years ago, I worked with and collaborated with lots of other women, including Donna, who's here today for the interview on the book called No Ordinary Words, The Real Life Wisdom of Women. And we're doing this round of interviews here to give you a real insight into these amazing women, why they joined, and what they've got out of being part of this creative project. So this is a book that's still live. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it as Kindle, and you can get it as an audio book. And yeah, we'd love it if you buy it because it supports all the money goes to two women's charities, Treesisters and She Has Hope. So I'm going to catch up with Donna today, who's just beautiful and beaming there, look on our camera. And this is what Donna says about herself. Donna Louise is a heart-centered healer devoted to helping women break free from limiting beliefs and step into their potential. Using a powerful blend of heart healing, intuitive energy healing, journey massage, channeled guidance and meditations, she creates profound transformations for her clients. Oh, it's amazing. Through her unique approach, she helps women reconnect with their true essence, embrace self-worth, and live a life with more peace, joy, love, and success. Everybody needs a Donna in their life. Hello, this is Donna. Hi, Donna.
Hi, yeah, it's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. So
Oh, it's
exciting.
wonderful. I know. And you're in such a gorgeous room. Tell us a bit about where you are with all the
Yeah.
fairy lights and the herbal things.
Yeah, this is my treatment room. So this is where if I'm doing in-person clients, I'm actually the computer is currently on my couch. So people would be lying on my couch if they came here in person. But then I do online sessions as well, group and one-to-one. So this is what it would look like if I was doing an online session. So
Ah, amazing. And you do little retreats and day sessions and things as well, don't you?
yes, yeah, I do all
Lucy,
sorts. Yeah.
lovely.
So the
L-
retreat I haven't quite got back up and running since having little Logan, who's 18 months old now. So yeah, but that's something I would love to do. But I loved doing them before he was born. He was in my tummy and literally like out here when I was last running my lovely day retreat. So yeah, they were confidence and empowerment retreats. So yeah.
Wow. And that's amazing. So he's going to have soaked up all that lovely energy and juice from you guys when you're doing your retreat, I
Yeah. Well,
bet.
it used to. It was so sweet actually. When I used to be, I remember standing up and doing some of my like channeled meditations that I do throughout my retreats. And he would be when I'd started to do them, it was like he would use like start and like dance around and move around. It was like he really liked it. So
Oh wow, that's so cool. So you're definitely getting good feedback then
yeah,
on your energy. That's amazing. And you took part in our book project. So there are 33 women involved in this. And what we say about it is that it's a book from 33 women around the world where we come together to celebrate the hardships, celebrations, and the revelations of life in today's world. And you wrote the chapter Perception of Perfection.
yeah.
And I loved the chapter because I felt like I wasn't alone in that whole drive for like performative perfection and being hard on myself and pushing myself. So, do you want to explain just a little bit about the chapter? You don't have to give us the whole chapter,
Yeah.
but just like what it was about.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was a bit of a journey through my life, really, and how since me being a child, I just felt like I needed to be perfect. It was like I was like this golden child, and I couldn't let anyone down, and it just carried on throughout my life, and I just felt like I had to be perfect to be loved. That's what it came down to.
Mm,
And if I wasn't perfect in I mean, I'm talking every way now. So the way I look, the way I act, what I was doing, any achievements that I made, and this was throughout, like I say, my whole life. So it was at school with teachers, it was with my parents. It's literally throughout my whole life. I just thought, what do people need me to be for me to be
mm,
liked, to be accepted, but basically to be loved and to fit in this world. And it felt very lonely, I think, to, I suppose, feel like myself wasn't good enough and that I needed to
yeah.
be different. It's lonely because it's that disconnection. It's like, you know, just feeling disconnected, not at one with people, not it's important that we all feel like we're in a tribe, that we have people and we are loved. So, yeah, so it was all about how I didn't feel like that and my journey through that, how it impacted me. I touch on, how I had an eating disorder, how I suffered very badly with body dysmorphia as an adult, and just how horrifically that impacted my life, really, and how
Mm.
I just wasn't me. I held myself back. I wasn't happy. Say I felt lonely and unloved, even though I was very loved. You just
Yeah.
think you're loved because in my head, I wasn't good enough to be loved. And I needed to change something. I needed to change something to be good enough to be loved. So it was my kind of journey through that. And that has been something actually since writing the book that I've healed so much more dramatically through as well. So
Mm.
although at that point of writing the book, I'd come a hell of a long way through healing that. It's kind of like actually writing the book itself was even a catalyst for me to heal that even further because I had to be completely open, honest, vulnerable, and had to be me. And
Yeah.
it was probably one of the first times I was me, like truly, truly me, for literally anybody to see, like anybody in the world could actually see me. And I was completely honest and truthful in there. And the fact that was okay and it was safe and my world didn't crumble. And I actually had such love and positive feedback from actually me putting myself out there. It was like I was cracked open
I know.
and actually
Yeah.
I just received love. Like
Yeah.
feel like being vulnerable, being open and honest that like I say you are literally just gonna crumble and it's completely unsafe. And actually to have the opposite was just like, whoa. So yes, that has been one of the catalysts for me to
Yeah. Yeah.
heal even further.
And what I think a lot of women will really identify with what you've just described around the need for perfection. I think there's definitely a feeling, an unwritten and often very written rule that women have to be pleasers and more perfect, and we have to kind of shape shift into what other people want from us. And we have to look perfect, and we have to be the perfect wife, perfect mother, perfect friend, perfect student, perfect, perfect, perfect. So I think a lot of people will identify with that. And what I think was really interesting in what you said for me was how the difference between how you felt with perfection, which was kind of isolating and sounded very heavy, to what you felt when you were describing how you felt taking part in writing the book, and you were open and the cracks open and the light came in and the love came in, and they seem so polar opposite. And I think that's testament to the power of creativity and creative projects and collaborative projects that can give us the tools to get into that place. And the book was very much a tool, I think, for a lot of us to get into a different mindset and a different place and maybe let go of perfection.
Yeah, it is a
um
healing tool, and
yeah.
all the women had to kind of do what I've just said, and we all had to let go of perfection. We all had to be completely open and honest in our own like journey, whatever we were writing about, and show our authentic self.
Selves,
And
yeah.
it's
We
so
talked a lot, didn't we, about shitty first draft? Do you remember?
yeah,
We kept talking about shitty first draft,
yeah.
which was like not perfect. So that was a really helpful concept as well.
Yeah, but I think in terms of actually writing, like you say, as a creative process. I mean, I do a lot of journaling now as well, which I think I do a lot more since the book because
Okay.
I think the book helped me to realize more so, although I knew of journaling, realize more so how flipping healing and flipping incredible actually writing is. So, me just even without the book going out there, even without anybody reading the book, it was like I was yeah, I was going through that healing process, just doing it. It was just amazing
Yeah.
writing about my life and having realizations and kind of realizing thinking, oh gosh, to a degree, I can't believe I actually feel this way. I can't believe I've experienced this and this is what
Mm.
I've gone through. And it was amazing for my family, for my husband to read as well, because
Yeah.
they actually understood me better. They were just like, oh, wow, like I didn't really
Didn't
realize.
know. And
So
yeah, I talk about that a lot when I teach that creativity in whatever form can be a really useful tool for communicating with yourself and with other people. And I remember us talking about the book and, how hopeful we were of how many it would sell or who would buy it. And I remember us saying, do you know what? If it doesn't sell any copies at all, it's kind of not about that. It's about us going through this process to make it. Unfortunately, it has sold a lot of copies and we have supported the charities, but it's a really lovely thing, I think, where we can let go of, I guess, the perfection of holding it as like, what is the perfect success for it? How many people will buy it? And we tried to let go of that quite early on, which is very in line with what you wrote about it. So thinking back then, what was the little like prod or push or hook that got you, like, why did you feel called to write it with us? Why did you step in?
Well, I mean, 100%, and I can still remember it right now. It was somebody else that's in the project. I won't say the name, just I don't know whether I should say the name, but it was a client of mine basically, told me that she was involved in the book project. And as soon as she said it, I spoke before I'd even my mind could catch up. And I was like, oh, I'd like to be involved with that. And as I said it, it was like my logical self was like, what are you on about? What are you doing? It was as if like it was literally it was like a calling. It was like I do think it was a point in my life that was just like written, like meant to be.
Mm,
Like I was meant to take part in the book. And so it was this kind of heart-centered message that was just like, you need to put yourself forward for this, and I kind of knew it would, because the book project had already started at this point. So I kind of thought, all those thoughts of why would they want you to, why would they want you to do it? But it was just
of
like,
course we did.
it was literally that. I mean, you could say I'm very spiritual. So, I feel like it was, my guides, my angels, my higher self, all just going, shouting at me, because it was so strong and it just came out of my mouth. It was so meant
Mm.
to be. And straight away I knew what it needed to be about as well, which shocked me. I was just a bit like, again, my logical self going, I'm not writing about that. I was like,
Intuition, right? Your intuition just kind of steps forward. And again, creative projects allow us to have a safe space for intuition to play around because we don't expect creativity to be that logical. So we kind of give ourselves permission to go, okay, it can just be what it's going to be. And it's interesting that you talk about it being like a bit of a universe message to you, because when people have said to me, oh, thanks, for pulling it all together and doing it. And yeah, I did ask that question and I did kind of kickstart the project, but it never felt like it was my project. It always felt like it happened through me.
yeah,
And creatives for hundreds of years, well, thousands of years, have said this on different projects. It's almost as though something moved through me to make that happen. And it was like a moment in time that just all came together. So it's really exciting to hear that the book was probably part of something much, much bigger that was going on for you. And emotionally, it felt like the right energy to
yeah.
step into.
And it proved to me that it was safe to take steps, to take a big scary step. But actually my mind was going like, what the hell are you doing? Like, but I just knew it was right, and it all panned out well for like so many reasons. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was really wonderful to step into that space with other people, and collaborating is always a kind of journey in itself, because sometimes it can be a tricky collaboration if people are kind of vying for space. But I think we all approached it in such an open and vulnerable way. And we were all women together as well, wanting to celebrate women and support women's charities, that I think that whole purpose of it immediately kind of bonded us and allowed us all to kind of elevate everybody else. I think if I'd have tried to do something on my own, it wouldn't have been nearly as rich and as deep and as diverse as doing it with 32 other women. I think it was just a gift, really, that it's happened. And
yeah.
how do you think then that, thinking back to kind of you and your chapter and writing that, you've touched on it a little bit ago where you said you felt like it was a very healing process and it helped you communicate with your family, but like, how did it help you to write that chapter? Were there any unexpected ways that it helped you that you weren't expecting, or things that were maybe a challenge or things that were a gift? Like, how did that work work out?
So things that were a challenge. I think the whole thing was sort of challenging, but I think in challenging myself, that helped to push me forward.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's all right. I'll rephrase that
And
again.
has it helped you? Did it help you in other ways though? Writing that chapter, has it
Oh yeah,
been like a way of purging some of the
oh
feelings
yeah,
or
100%.
being
Yeah.
able to get you unstuck and create momentum? Like, what has the help been for you
Oh yeah,
personally in
I
the
do think
chapter?
it's transformed a lot. So it's, as I said earlier, it's helped me to realize that it's okay to be open and vulnerable, that that's okay,
Yeah,
that actually we all want to see ourselves being open and vulnerable and truly us. It's like we walk around with masks on and we think that's what we need to do, but it showed me that no, people don't want to see you with a mask on pretending to be perfect, pretending to be this and that. They want you to be you, and I could see how much that helped other people. I had people saying to me, oh wow, thanks so much for writing that. It's really helped me to feel like I'm not alone anymore.
yeah,
And and that was just absolutely, absolutely fantastic and heartwarming. I think, gosh, no, not only have I got so much out of it, so much healing, so much transformation, so many realizations about myself, like you say, so much better as relationships really with those close to me because they then realized how I felt. Yeah, it was just huge, but it has all sort of escalated. So I think, yeah, it was kind of like one of a starting points of like a cog for everything changing. So it's like my business has massively changed. So like
oh
obviously,
wow.
yeah, so obviously you read my bio at the
Mhm.
start, and it's like I wouldn't have said those things back then. That is more of a recent transition. So I'm now stepping into my power of who I am and who I want to help and what I'm here to do in this world. Which before I was very much hiding. So I was sort of doing similar things, but um how to describe it. Yeah, I was hiding behind my treatment room, I suppose, not being fully out there, expressive, being truly, fully embracing who I was and my gifts. It was like I was sort of using them, but I was sort of using them a bit, and I was
Holding them back.
hiding them. I was holding.
Yeah.
Right, I
And
was.
were your treatments and things more to do with people's external health and things as well? And you're moving into a more internal spiritual space? Am I right in thinking that?
Was a bit of both. So because I was
Mm,
actually still at the point of doing the book, I was offering beauty treatments as well. So I
mm.
was doing like waxing, facials, you know, eyebrows, all sorts of things. Um, Even though sort of from which I touch on in the book, even though from when I originally trained, when I left school, I did beauty therapy, but I did holistic therapies alongside it. And I knew, I kind of felt as soon as I started doing any holistic therapies, I was like, oh, this is amazing. The beauty was nice. It was like it's always nice to have a nice chat with people and make people feel good. And I think I was always still helping those people anyway because you get into the conversations. So I was
Yeah,
always naturally being healing and uplifting. But it was the holistic therapies that were really me at a core. But I held on for absolute dear life to kind of who I thought I needed to be. I was a beauty therapist
mm,
and in my comfort of my treatment room, I'm slipping in, the healing, which I just wasn't being certainly as open as I am now about it. Now I'm loud and proud, and I'm like, no, the beauty isn't for me. I don't do that anymore. It's not aligned. I was only keeping myself quite small, really doing that, not stepping into my potential, which is now obviously when I help other people do. I want other people to see like you can do more because I thought I
yeah,
couldn't do more. And I'm like, I want everyone else to see that they have the potential for more. They have the potential to see what are they gifted at, what are their talents, what potential do they have. They don't have to settle. They don't have to think, oh, well, I'm doing all right, I'm doing just as well as my friends, or I'm doing better than some of my friends. And have you watched the news lately? You know, I should be really grateful because, you know, I want people to see that, you know, there is more available to them than that.
Yeah, and isn't it amazing that there is a definitive, I'm not saying it's the only moment, but there was an absolute practical moment, whether that's when you got involved in the book or when we hit publish or when you got the copy in your hands, whenever that was like a real example, like you said, of that cog, like I can be seen, I can be more, I can be imperfect. And that is now kind of this theme and this sort of mission that you're following through in your actual life. And I was going to ask you about, you know, what is the wider effect been to other people or to your community or to your relationships or
Yeah.
elsewhere? Like, have your clients felt a difference in you
Yeah,
from
yeah.
since doing the book? Is that
Huge.
true? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, huge. It's been like transitional, like, but so they did definitely straight away. People said, "Oh, I can tell you're sort of different," and they could tell that my healing was different. It expanded more. But then as time's gone on, it was like that was a seed that
Mm,
then was growing, was growing, was growing. So then I've taken more and more steps. So that's gone on. And then obviously having my son has changed things. That's how you
yeah.
really had to kind of just be fully me. And yeah, you just have to be, don't you? And you know, you've got a little one to look after. It's like everything, your thoughts about life just change, don't they? And I was very passionate that I want him to see that it's okay to be him. It's okay, it's safe to be him. And I
Yeah.
want him when he grows up to be able to think to himself, what do I want to do in this world? And to be able
Mm,
to think that he can you know, make a success, like whether it's to have his own business, whatever that is, to do things that he's passionate about. And so that was a big drive for me. So it's all escalated from doing the book.
yeah.
But yeah, my treatments have evolved like hugely. I've done more training. So the heart healing is more of a recent training, and I'm still doing more training as well with that. So I've done core heart healing, but now I've just qualified in ancestral heart healing. Um,
Wow.
and I've just
I need
started,
to book on. That sounds amazing.
yeah. And then all the other ones as well. I'm doing for started classes.
Um, And what about, and I know your healing is a creative gift as well, but it just kind of brings us back more to kind of your voice and your creativity. Have you, since the book, you talk about journaling more, has your creativity shown up in other ways? What you make, how your home looks, what you write? Have you
I think
suddenly started noticing sunrises? Like, what has the creative part of that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I think the writing thing, I think the writing is the biggest thing. I mean, yes, I do think as we with doing the book and with healing, I do think yes, I've become more present with like say the beauty of life, 100%.
Mm,
And like you say, noticing. I am very present with just noticing the beauty all around us, whether it's I'm looking out now and it's windy, but that the lovely trees blowing in the wind and so
yeah.
absolutely there's that. But I think the biggest thing is I do a lot of writing. I'm actually, because of doing this book project, I am now involved in another book project as well. So
Amazing.
so yeah, so I'm in the middle of I've just submitted my first my first draft, which yes, that was a huge undertaking, I have to say. But yes, so very pleased, yeah, very pleased about that. So and that's kind
Mm.
of like and I suppose an expansion, like a next level to it was kind of like the book we did was like part one, and this feels like
Yeah, the next step.
because I've like
And
the
and tell me where you went to do your English literature degree and your master's doctorate in literature. Was that Oxford or Cambridge?
yeah, definitely need that. Yeah.
It was nowhere, right? But
Yeah.
what I mean by that, I know it's a bit of a joke, but what I mean by that is like I didn't train to be a painter either, and you haven't had formal training to be a writer. And look at you doing two book projects. Look at me being an artist. It's like I think sometimes it holds us back thinking, which links to your chapter of perfection. It holds us back to think we have to be brilliant at something before we can have a try at something. And
Yeah.
there's a real difference between creative techniques or skills, like knowing, you know, how to spell things or what a certain brush does or how to make a certain stitch or how to plant a garden versus creative ideas, imagination, passion, emotion. And we've all got creativity in absolute bundles. There's oodles and oodles of it running through all of us. And what I find heartbreaking is when people wait and wait and wait to be perfect at the tools, because the tools are just there to let your creativity come forward.
Yeah.
So, I think it's really empowering to hear that from, never having been seen creatively and then taking part in our book project, you've gone on to journal and write and kind of fulfill that inner need as part of your own practice, your
Yeah.
creative practice, and then go on to do another book project without any formal training. And it's so empowering to other women and to other people who are listening to this. I mean, what would you say? This is kind of like my last question, I guess. What would you say to other women who are thinking of taking part in a creative project or maybe starting a creative project themselves? What advice or motivation or thoughts would you want to give to those women?
Oh, I'd say just literally just do it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just get on. Just get on with it. You will grow and evolve. And yeah, at times things can feel hard, but then you grow, don't you, when things feel hard? And you'll
Yeah.
find parts of yourself that you never knew were there. So just, yeah, basically just do it. And also, I was going to add actually, saying about creative, what more creative things. I've been dying to do some painting again. But
Amazing.
I just, yeah, with having Logie, and I've only ever done like oil paintings, so it's not like the type of painting I've done. It's not like I don't know much about painting and like you do, but it's not one that I can just like do a bit, put it down and come back. It's like you need to do it all in one go. I just remembered because I can see
Yeah.
I've done up there.
So
And
it's inspiring you to be curious about other creative
it has,
avenues for
yeah, it
yourself.
made me think, oh, I can't, I'd just love to get it back out again, but it just hasn't been the right time. But it's,
It's there. So
it's,
the spark. So I teach,
it's
I teach a lot of women, and I teach a menopause program called Rebloom School, and we're talking there about creativity, igniting your spark, and finding that spark again, and finding your passions, and exploring lots of things. And I can just hear it in actual reality from your mouth, and I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I talk about. It's so cool. So I mean, that's amazing. It's so wonderful to talk to you and get such a view, like a personal view into your chapter. And we've got a few interviews in this series. And I just want to share again the book. Sorry, technical skills. No Ordinary Words. You can find it on Amazon in your country. So please go and buy that or get the audiobook. And if you're not a woman, go and get it anyway, because you will learn so much. You'll have lots of your questions will be answered. And it's been amazing to chat. And we've got a few interviews in this series. So come back and join us again on this channel. And from me and Donna, it's goodbye and go forth and be creative. So bye. Bye for now.
bye.